What is the biggest lesson we should learn from the Great Recession?
The biggest lesson that we should learn from the Great Recession is simply put as no one company is too big to fail. The lesson that Numerix gleaned from the failure of Lehman that kicked off the entire Great Recession is something that we're really proud of, because at the time of the Great Recession, Numerix was and still is to this day the leader in pricing derivatives. At the time of the collapse, derivatives is what was the cause of that. And therefore, it became the wrong word to use in Wall Street. And Numerix built its entire brand around derivatives. Needless to say, we were concerned. But as a company that has always been nimble and adaptable, we started to look at opportunity and looked at this as an opportunity for Numerix. So the lesson that I think I can share with everyone has two segments to it. The first is, when Lehman failed, we luckily, and sometimes luck comes from putting your best foot forward, found ourselves as the winner of the Lehman business and representing the creditors to be able to help unwind their portfolios of 1 million terminated trade positions. This put Numerix in a very key position as a major valuation player in the marketplace, beating out over 20 different companies in the marketplace that were vying for that business. And today, we continue to help them unwind all of those exotic structures. The second thing really profoundly reshaped the essence of Numerix. And that was that we saw an opportunity to advance forward to become truly a pricing and risk company. And at that moment in time, we began to build forth a risk platform that was part of our pricing system. And by 2011, we delivered such a platform to the marketplace. And what's really phenomenal about what we did there is that we dominated a portion of the risk space, became a leader in that space, and have gone on to build a risk business where it's crossing now our pricing business. So the lesson in all this, from my perspective, is that even if you're big, even if you're small, you need to be adaptable to change in the marketplace. You need to be flexible and nimble and be able to make your way through the forest to the other end, and there'll be lots of challenges as you go there. Numerix is a perfect example of migrating from a derivative pricing company now to a leading pricing and risk company as a result of the Great Recession.
And what do you foresee happening to the walls that divide the front, the middle, and the back offices?
Well, what we see happening in all financial institutions around the world, at both the front, the middle, and the back office, is that regulations are fueling a completely different change. Companies need to reinvent themselves in order to adapt to what's taking place in the marketplace. When you look at the front, middle, and back office, it's our view that over the next several years, there'll be a blur between those groups. And probably within 5 years, they will not even exist any longer, because there's a completely new set of mandates driven down by the CEO and the CFO to be able to start to understand what holistically they're dealing with from a risk perspective. You know, we've heard a lot about rogue traders going out and creating lots of problems for different institutions. And perhaps if institutions were able to capture risk as it's occurring and see some of these things as they occur, and perhaps if an institution had the ability to have that single view across the enterprise, then perhaps there'd be the opportunity to mitigate more risk. And for Numerix, we've looked at this very differently. And we've looked at it that inherent to where the marketplace is truly going in the future around front, middle, and back office, one needs to be able to have all the pricing data that enriches a risk system that scales the enterprise. And at the same time, regulations have driven the demand at the front office to be able to provide real-time risk. Real-time risk becomes critical to the chief risk officer, who tends not to be able to see all that risk because systems are being bought by front office traders and their bosses. And so the collapsing of the front, middle, and back office, driven by the CEOs of all these financial institutions, will enable this to happen. And Numerix will lead the way into the future, because what we've done as we embarked on this journey to deliver risk is we delivered an XVA product that basically provides all the value adjustments at the front office. We built that into a cube so that we can slice and dice all that data across every desk. We've given visualization capabilities and reporting so that those folks that run these desks can see their risk as it's happening in real time. We've taken and built a market risk cube to be able to provide the same kinds of capabilities to the chief risk officer. And we'll be the first company to deliver this summer the ability to have one view from the chief risk officer or the CEO's desk through a dashboard to be able to see risk from the back office to the middle office, all the way to real-time interaction at the front office, because we'll blur together these cubes, we'll merge them together and offer that as a combined solution. This will be truly unique in the marketplace, and we will once again be a first mover in this space.
Okay. And then lastly, how has the risk culture changed among your customers?
The risk culture has changed dramatically for our customers. And you know, an important point here is Numerix has 700 clients and 90 partners in 26 countries around the world, served by employees in 16 countries around the world. And I think we have some credibility when we say our 700 clients are helping us to change the way our products evolve for the marketplace. And therefore, the culture has changed in a way around risk where there's a greater need to move more swiftly to get to a final solution, to be able to see things that are happening in real time, as I mentioned previously. And therefore, they're looking to leverage technology. And never before, at this point in time, is there a greater opportunity to leverage technology to serve the needs of all the risk people. So we kind of look at the whole cultural change being more about the commoditization of IT infrastructure and the like. All the different tools that have been built for the enterprise world are all lending themselves perfectly at this moment in time to a ripened ready risk solution that can be delivered by Numerix. So for example, cloud-enabled technology, big data, analytics, mobility. These are just some of the things that are so important to the commoditization in the risk world that never before could you assemble the pieces from an analytic firm like Numerix with big data, cloud solutions from, say, Microsoft Azure, pull it all together, and then offer an opportunity for people to leverage this technology, cut their costs, get scale, and be able to solve their problems in real time. And the key thing with cultural aspects is people are on the move more than ever before. They're constantly shifting from one location to another, from one country to another, and they need to be able to leverage the technology. And mobility plays such a critical role in being able to see risk issues that pop up on an iPhone in a moment's notice, letting you know there's an issue. That's where the industry is going. Culturally, this is what financial institutions and people are looking for in the years to come.